Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Making Anything Possible. This is an episode with Colette Stryker from the MAP Coaching Institute. And I have to say, Colette is one of my greatest teachers, mentors, friends. Just so inspiring what Colette has created and what she has brought into the world. And so I just had to have her here for a chat because I want you all to have an opportunity to meet her today and see what the big deal is about Colette and the MAP Coaching Institute, because she's really here to help everyone on the planet make anything possible. And that's exactly what the MAP method that she has co-founded does for people. So we've got Colette here to tell us a little bit more about this journey, because I think your journey is so interesting, and what led you from, your desire to create this on the planet. Like, why did you have such a strong desire? Because creating a method is not everyone has that aspiration. So welcome, Colette. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Anne. It's such a joy to talk to you today. I have known you, as you know, since you began the journey in MAP and became eventually a MAP certified practitioner. So you went through the whole training, and that's when we began our friendship and connection, and it has not stopped since then. So we have had a really good journey together. So thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here, and happy to meet everyone else that you are bringing along here in the Facebook community, or even the YouTube community that you have. So,
yes, isn't it exciting how internationally we can be together? Which is why I was able to certify as a practitioner in the first place, because you were able to bring the certification online. So you're originally from France, but you don't live in France anymore. You're in Houston. And here I am down in New Zealand. So it's very exciting to have had that opportunity to certify and meet you, even though we're so far away.
That's true. Yes, I all began in France, and when I was 9 years old, I made that decision because of what was happening around me. Unfortunately, my mom was extremely depressed, and one day I thought she had passed. Actually, she was on the floor, and I began to cry, and then I just couldn't stand it anymore. And because my mom, was wanting to take her life several times, and so this time I thought it was the case. So I said, "This is it. I want to be happy. I want to help others who will want to be happy, and I want to have a happy family." So since 9 years old, I've been on this journey, on this quest. And, on and off, I had forgotten in the teenage years, and then back on it later on. And eventually doing a lot of inner work in my 20s and 30s, a lot of therapy, and ended up, moving to the United States to become at the cutting edge, to learn from the best, and to be trained at the cutting edge of psychology. And I ended up many years at the university and studying for 15 years, everything that I could find on the cutting edge. And eventually I actually designed my own method. So that's this.
Incredible. Now, let's not gloss over, some of the detail there, because not everyone moves from one country to another and does all this work. So what was that key kind of learning? How did you get from France to the US?
Well, it was a deep, deep desire in my heart. I have been in the US before in 1979, 80. And I've been in the US before and I loved it. And I knew that, you know, there was lots of information and knowledge that was not available in French and in France. And when I began a little bit psychology in France, they were saying, oh, this is the latest technology and it comes and it was born in 1960 in California. And I said, well, we're in the 80s here. What do you mean the latest method? I say, well, I better go where it is, you know. And so I was always dreaming of coming at the source of edge. I just couldn't wait for humanity to have the best tools to be able to heal our own wound, which, you know, you understand now I had plenty as a child. The fastest, the easiest, the most gentlest way. And that has been my quest my entire life until I really discovered MAP, which is make anything possible.
Yeah. So what kinds of things were you doing before kind of this discovery of yours?
Oh, I had studied, first of all, when I came to the US in 95, I did everything. I was studying almost 24 hours 7. I was at the university to study traditional psychology, ended up with a master's degree and specializing in family therapy. But from the very beginning, I didn't believe in, you know, traditional approach. So I studied energy psychology with Gary Flint. No, Gary Craig. I mean, there are so many EFT and then TFT and then BSFF and many for 15 years of all those letters. And at the same time, I was doing a massage therapy school because I wanted to be able to touch the client to do body-mind work. I did a lot of work in, you know, sexual abuse originally when I was working. So I wanted to do body-mind approaches. So I had to study this and that. And then in the middle, I needed to know the latest. And that took me 15 years. Yes.
Wow. So yeah, you and I share that in common with like always searching, always wanting to have more, and that was exactly the path I was on when I came across you, and I hear that from so many of your MAP practitioners that it's that phrase, you know, this was the missing piece of the puzzle. And, you know, when I first experienced MAP, to be honest, I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know I was experiencing MAP because of the way I came across you and across it. And it was like, whoa, what was that? Like, what just happened? And why was that so easy? And you know, after all the other things I'd experienced that either weren't very effective or they weren't gentle, they definitely weren't easy. I didn't want to experience those things and I resisted experiencing them. It was like this amazing, wow, this felt good, actually. You know, like it left me feeling good. The results were so good, and I literally made the decision the third day that I knew you. You might not know this, but the third day I knew you, it was in a 5-day little program. The third day, I said to myself, well, whatever this is, whenever I can, I have to learn how to do it. You know, it was just, that was the decision made, and I'm so happy that I had that opportunity.
It could be, yes, I'm happy that you actually found out we could be friends. However, I think it would be nice to explain what is MAP if you want.
Yes, I want to hear it. Now, you already mentioned Gary Flint, and there's a reason for that. Yeah. So tell us more about MAP and about Gary.
Yes. So I came here with all this knowledge, and then I get a client from France, actually. Some people were flying over to see me. And so I get a client that really I realized after a few days that she is not depressed, anxious, or phobic of anything. She's bipolar. She has bipolar disorder. And I say, man, with everything I've ever learned, I am not going to tap this away, to NLP it away, to do whatever away. It's not going to work. And this person has flown over, not telling me the facts, hoping that I could do magic without, And I say, no, that's not going to work. So I go deep dive into psychiatry and trying to look desperately for a solution, for something even more effective than what I already had. And I find the work, very little known work of Dr. Flint, who had retired already for years. He was already more than 80 years old. But I found his work in Canada, where he discovered that we could train a part of the mind, for him was the subconscious mind, to train the subconscious mind to heal all those programs and beliefs and memories inside of the mind. So it was like the idea of the mind healing the mind. And it was, whoa, that's a revelation. That's a revolution. So I immediately connected with him and he trained us. And then I realized pretty soon, actually, that and it was, I felt the limitation of the word subconscious mind. It felt limited to someone's lifetime. And I had studied so much, as you can imagine, on different subjects, realizing that actually generational history had importance, cultural history, DNA, organs and endocrines, and, the body memories were important, which are not defined traditionally as the subconscious mind. You see, there were so many aspects like family dynamics and things like that, or even the entire energy system that I had studied in massage, the chakras and the energy system from the Chinese medicine. So all those things were affecting the mind, and it was not included in that viewpoint. So I was inspired and greatly guided to use the word and the concept of the superconscious mind, which is really the part of us that's connected to the field of infinite intelligence, that has no limitation, that knows everything and remembers everything and is connecting us and has never been hurt. So there's this part of you that's like a genie, a genius part of us that is loving and caring and bright and ready to help. And we can train that part actually to go deep dive in the subconscious programs, find them and neutralize them by giving them an instruction, just an instruction. So we are literally rewiring the brain by giving it an instruction. And the client who is going through it is observing their brain and body and mind shifting, readjusting, healing itself. And this takes minutes. And then they can reassess the progress of the healing that has just happened.
Yeah.
So that's
beautiful. And your enthusiasm, and this is what I love so much about you, is your genuineness and your enthusiasm, is so real here. And what you've come across and put together, it's so obvious as both a client of a MAP session and as a practitioner that you have taken all of your learning and packaged it up. So it's literally unlike anything else you're going to experience, or as a practitioner, unlike anything else you're going to guide someone through. And what I think so many people are attracted to is the privacy of it. Because, that's so incredible. I don't have to sit in a session and tell my practitioner that's guiding me through the session every little detail. And I don't even have to recall every little detail, but how in the world does that work, Colette?
Yes, well, that's the idea of tapping into the inner genius that we have inside of us, the superconscious mind that knows everything. So you don't have to remember consciously. Remember, the conscious mind is only 5%. So the 95% that every other method has a very hard time to tap into, we have no problem, because we just really launched the superconscious on a journey inside of your unconscious mind, and finds out those memories and heal them that way. So you don't have to remember consciously, because there is no way you can remember at 2 years old something happened to you, or in the womb something happened to you, or 7 generations ago something happened to your family, So there is no way you can consciously remember those informations and data. But it's in the field. It exists. And it's affecting you deeply. I remember myself clearing money blocks. And I had to go to my grandfather's side and remember, through the process and the protocol, because we have created a protocol and a chart that allows us to navigate the subconscious mind very easily once you are aware of it and know how to do it. And so I navigated my subconscious memories and realized there was something blocking me from my grandfather's side. And what happened is they had fallen off a rooftop, broke his neck or broke a part of his body, and could never work again, could never earn money again and nourish his family and be the man in the family. And so for me, it was interesting because I felt the block of never being able to be the breadwinner in my family, because my husband had always a higher salary than me, but I wanted to break through and to go. And I felt this, plateau, if you want. And when I released that, the plateau was over, because I didn't have to reproduce my grandfather's inability to nourish his family and be the breadwinner.
Amazing. And, MAP has so many uses. I can't think of anything that it wouldn't help with. And you talking about those generational patterns, it's something that I frequently, for anyone that follows me knows, I frequently talk about those generational patterns. And, it's partly that, it's part of our body, it's part of our DNA. And it's also that those beliefs that we formed, when we have been here on the planet, based on our experiences with our parents. And I noticed so many people really repeating the same cycles, either just in their own lives, or the through the generations. They're just repeating. And so what you talked about money blocks, and your number one bestseller is Abundance on Demand. So obviously you learned a lot and wrote about it, which is exciting. But what other kinds of things are you saying at the MAP Coaching Institute amongst all the practitioners and yourself? What are you finding that's really exciting that this is helping with?
Yes, well, we're an institute, so we do research all the time. So we have research on many different subjects, like stuttering, for example. We also have a latest one that's been really fascinating, is the effect on the body and the inflammation in the body. If you have read the book, When the Body Says No, yes, it's a book that relates the characteristics and the patterns of your childhood affecting your health now, and your immune system, literally, because of the
Yeah.
stress and the accumulation of the stress. And the body
Yeah.
says, no, I don't want that anymore. And you end up with autoimmune disorders or inflammation everywhere with weird kind of symptoms like brain fog, etc., or joint pain. And we have done some research, and we have had extremely excellent results that I didn't expect. I didn't know. I mean, I do know the connection, but really being able to transform within several weeks some people's lives, very fascinating results.
Yeah, I have been seeing some of those testimonies from people, and I mean these are people that have been trying everything, and it's unbelievable for me having been gosh, this must be 3 years I've known about MAP, or 4. I can't remember anymore, but it's something that I didn't even consider the results would be so fantastic. I mean, I kind of did because I think it's unbelievably amazing, but that people can physically be manifesting things different in their lives with MAP. It's amazing.
Yeah, when you begin to clear all those heavy rocks and boulders in your in your backpack, I really consider all those memories like rocks in your backpack that makes
Yeah,
life heavier and harder and more struggling and with more pain. Once you begin releasing those that you didn't even know you had, well, your body can breathe. Your body can say yes
mm,
to life. It can be
yeah,
enlightened again and finding joy in
mm,
life again, because you're not suffering mentally, emotionally with stress and anxiety and all those patterns and reactivity that
yeah,
diminishes your relationships and the love in your life. So when
mm,
you're releasing all of that, your immune system is saying yes to life and is saying yes, I love. And there was an aspect actually that we discovered through our research that
mm,
totally makes sense once we understand it. There is a lot of connection with self-love.
mm,
You see, once you begin loving yourself, having self-compassion, being gentle with yourself, forgiving yourself,
mm,
um, then the body doesn't have to fight itself.
mm.
The body becomes a reflection of your own inner mind saying, I don't love myself, so I reject a part of me. Well, the immune system is going to reject a part of you. You see,
Yes.
so we discovered
Wow.
that there was this commonality that among every single person that we clear
Mm,
out.
amazing. I in my work with mums in particular, we hear a lot about self-care and how we need to have self-care. And generally speaking, what people mean by that is that you need to go and, get to the hair salon, um, go and have your nails done, maybe go have coffee with a friend, and that's what they talk about. And what I intuitively understood, and you talk about so beautifully, is really true self-care is that inner stuff, and instead of looking at our external world and trying to fix all those things out there, really the journey has to start with us inside, doesn't it? And you talk about that all the time.
Yes, I mean, there is no other way. You can try to control the world, but you see, it really doesn't ever work. Not, it will exhaust you. That's why some
Yeah.
people have chronic fatigue. It's like you try to control everything and everyone. Instead, just take a breath, relax, and quiet your mind
Mm,
and get in touch with yourself. And when there is inside of that peace, that moment of quietness, that you feel like you're not totally quiet and perhaps things are bubbling up, it's like those memories or those thoughts or those lack of forgiveness of others too.
mm,
Um, that's the moment to say, okay, I do need to do some inner work, clear those patterns, those pains, if you want, that are inner pains. And as you begin to do that, you're lighter and lighter. And what it's really fascinating, the world is a reflection of you. And you end up having better relationships, attracting better friends, having a happier life. Eventually, your life will reflect exactly who you are.
100%. And Matt makes it so easy, because it can sound a bit scary to people, especially if they haven't really done that sort of thing before, or if they've had a fairly negative experience, like maybe in therapy or something like that. It can feel like, what, I don't want to go there. Or another thing is, we have certain emotions in our culture or in our family, that we just don't want to feel them. And I think a lot of people think doing inner work means going through a lot of painful emotions. And so isn't it easier just to avoid that? And maybe that's a conscious decision, or maybe it's not, but I think it can keep some people stuck thinking, I just don't want to go there.
Yes, that's the general public, I would say. Most of the people out there, when you talk. But the good news with MAP is it doesn't have to be painful. You don't have to talk about anything. You don't have to share anything. It can stay private, but you can feel the release inside of you along the journey, along the session, and you end up, more or less skipping out of the door. I'm not kidding. Yeah, it's really, and because you feel relief, and you don't have to share those moments, that you don't want to. So I think that's the revolution. And thank you, Anne, for making it. For me, it's so evident. It has been 7 years now that I do that. I didn't realize how important it is to know that personal growth can feel good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think personal growth and deep work can feel good. You might bring up something in a 2 minutes deal. You might really feel a little bit for a minute or two, that smacks, and then it dissolves. And all you're doing, actually, it's good to explain what happens during a session. You might be bringing up a little bit of a tension or a big tension, whatever it is, and even an event that you remember. But all you have to do is perhaps bring it up for a minute, for a few seconds. You bring it up, you allow yourself to be present with it. And then as the coach is giving an instruction to your superconscious mind to go deep dive and find those memories and neutralize them very gently, the client is just observing. So you're just observing as a client, the memory dissolving, the pain releasing, the breathing opening up, and even the memory fading away, that you actually have a harder time to even bring it up if you need to. And sometimes people end up saying, Colette, it's gone. It's gone. Where did it go? It's gone. Well, it just went, asleep. But you're happy now. It quiets down and goes to sleep. Literally, it becomes a neutral memory. It's not that it disappears in your unconscious, because it's still there, but it's neutralized. The pain around the memory is dissolved.
Right.
Like you dissolve the glue, and then you just have, just a memory that's dormant. Like, going to the supermarket 3.5 years ago.
Right.
For me, ask me yesterday, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, unless it stands out for you, it's like it's gone.
It's gone. And so that's what happened. Those memories, they stand out because they are painful. There is pain around it. But imagine that the pain is dissolved, and then the memory is just a memory. Then it becomes a memory, and you get enriched by the integration of that memory in your personality, so that you actually have grown and perhaps have wisdom of viewpoints that are different. When I do my experiences, every week I do 3 workshops, 3 experiences. And I allow people to come and experience MAP with me every single week. And perhaps you can share actually the link with others.
Yes,
Group
let's
here.
talk
That would
about
be
this.
fun. But when I share those experiences, every single time we open the mic at the end, and one or two people are coming up because we don't have time for everyone, but one or two people are coming up, and it's incredible the release, the shifts that are happening, and the change of viewpoint, even an insight. Someone got a message yesterday. It's like, you don't have to be angry. Every single person on this planet has different viewpoints. And it's
Yeah,
okay to have a different viewpoint. So he came up with that thought that didn't
yeah.
was not there 5 minutes before. You see,
Mhm.
before he was super angry at someone. He
Mhm.
has been angry for years. And
You
suddenly,
know, it's interesting that you just gave that example because I was just thinking before you started speaking that actually the thing that it's probably done for me the most really is make me more compassionate. Um, you
yes.
know, I'm so much I don't hold those resentments, those angers, those frustrations. Like I just feel so compassionate and I mean I've always been someone that just pretty naturally can see other people's viewpoints, but it's on another level. Like I really feel it so deeply. And that has happened since MAP. Nothing else gave me that. So I have, you should be able to see the links if you're on looking in the comments, and you can also see it up on the screen. So this link will take you to, for those of you who are interested in hearing a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of MAP and why it works, how it works, you can go to that link and it will, with just giving your email to Colette, you'll get a free on-demand video that
Yeah.
you can learn a little bit more. But that's not all, because like I say, I was sold on MAP because I experienced it, and I really believe it's just one of those things you have to experience because it will blow your mind. It really will. We could talk about it all day, but until you experience it for yourself, um, you just have to. So, well, you don't have to, but
If
if
you
you
want
love
to
it as much as
understand.
that's right, that's right. So it's that link will then take you to, you said 3 times a week you're doing a live experience that you yourself, this is you yourself running it, right?
Yes, me myself live, 2 hours,
Right.
a little more than 2 hours. We
Wow.
spent together, and there is, some explanation, some more about the science, etc. And then there is the whole part of the experience. So what will happen is you will go through the training video, and if you're interested in the experience, I will make something really unique for you. Is the 2 hour experience, plus you're going to get my book Abundance on Demand,
Yay.
and another gift that I won't even, it's a surprise, all of that, and it will be only $17 US dollars. So I
Wow.
want to encourage you, so that I know that you're coming. It's important to step forward and say, yes, I commit to being with Colette, and so that we can spend 2 hours and a little more together having
Wow.
fabulous.
And for those of you not in the US, that's about 25 New Zealand dollars. So you get 2 hours with Colette and her book. And we all want abundance in our lives. That's not just about money per se, but all the abundance you could want. So wow. That is an amazing offer. So gosh, I can't thank you enough for putting out into the world what you have put into the world. And I think this is a message to anyone who wants to make anything possible, that by sharing your own personal gifts, you can change the world. And that is really, like, you're such a role model to someone like myself, taking a risk, having a dream, following it, and just loving your life. Um, So I thank you so much for taking those steps to get this into the world, and all the way here to New Zealand for me. Um, and I thank you for being here. We want to keep this short. If you really, I highly encourage you to go and check out Colette's experience. Also, Colette, is there ongoing certification programs for people like myself who actually are interested in becoming a practitioner one day?
Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. We have ongoing training. So actually, by going through that journey with me, you go to the 2-hour experience, you will be able to understand how later on, I won't talk about it exactly during the experience, but you will know what to do next if you're interested in becoming a certified practitioner in MAP. So all that will be very clear and easy to find.
Okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
thank you.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much. It was nice to spend time with you, even here on this public arena, and I'm sure some people are feeling quite inspired after hearing you. So thank you so much, and wishing you and the MAP Coaching Institute all the best, and watching this method grow and change the planet.
Yes, let's make anything possible for everyone on this planet. And thank you,
Yeah.
Anne. Thank you, thank you. It was so much fun.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye.